Okay, next question is from Sergio. What do you think Chet and Wemby's ceilings might be in their prime? Sergio writes that he thinks they could both be top five, maybe even top three players at some point.
Yeah, Waz, as both the foremost Chet believer and
Yeah.
initially the foremost Wemby skeptic,
Yes.
I want to hear how your thoughts on this have evolved over the course of the season.
It's evolved. I don't know that Chet has top 5, top 3 guy in the league potential. I think he could get close to that top 10 if everything breaks right, meaning, he gets his strength together, that three-pointer stays. So the strength part, that's of utmost importance because one, he needs to be able to stand up one-on-one against some of the biggest bigs without having his team send help. So he needs to be able to do that. And two, he needs to be the kind of guy that punishes smaller people. If your center doesn't hurt small players, effectively, it's like they're just a guard who can't dribble. But so he needs to get stronger. The three, man, I thought it was fading at a certain point in the season, but that thing is back. And he's hovering around at 38%, 39%. Like, damn. That's really impressive. And so I don't know that he'll ever be this offensive hub where you just generate all of your looks off of what you're doing around him. It doesn't feel like he's going to get to that. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. And he probably won't ever have to because he's playing with freaking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's the thing, yeah. The developmental difference in these guys is pretty stark in that way. I think even if Chet could be that player, will he get the chance to over the first 5 or 6 years of his career? Just to simplify it, I would highly doubt he ever has that kind of showcase. I think as long as he plays with SJ, he's probably going to be more of a second type offensive player, or sometimes even third, depending on what other talent OKC brings in.
Yeah, he just needs to get stronger so that he can overwhelm switches and cross matchups and things of that nature. So he's generating Anthony Davis type of junk buckets that he does. Like, he needs to get like AD, and then he'll be hovering around those top player movements. And I think obviously he's only going to get smarter about defense. He's already got a really high IQ about that. He's already flashing the ball handling. It's just, I don't see the top 5, top 3 for him as of now. Now, Wembanyama, he's freaking pocket passing, diming people up.
It's nuts.
He's freaking just destroying guys in a one-on-one. I seen Bo complain that they were, basically he accused the refs of Isaiah. He accused the refs of being fans of Wembanyama. He's already getting the superstar calls. On offense, he's just showing you everything. Shot creation on his own. Obviously, just as a pick and roll partner, it's freaking deadly what this guy's going to be able to do on the pop and on the roll. It's just the sky's just the limit offensively. And again, it's very tied to him getting stronger, not getting pushed out. But at a certain point, if he's just shooting over people with that feathery touch, does he need to be close to the basket? I don't even know, right? And then, of course, on defense, where people like Kyle Mann think he's already best defensive player since Bill Russell, we know what he is on defense. So, yeah, I think Wemby obviously has best player in the league, Hall of Fame, all of that. And most importantly, man, he wants it.
Yes.
This guy has the fire. He's got that proverbial dog in him.
I love the proverbial dogs. I love the real dogs too. Big dog podcast group chat is. But not only does he want it, he wants to kill people. And I think he and Chet have this in common, honestly. It's just their situations and their skill sets are a little different. But what is going to drive Chet to be of the air we're talking about, top 5, top 10 kind of talent, maybe fringes of that, depending on how his offense develops and how much he can create for himself, is the same thing that's going to drive Victor up and up and up in these rankings, and potentially to be the best player in a league where it sounds crazy to put it this way, but right now, Edwards is 22. Luka and Shea are 25. And you're looking at Victor Wembanyama and saying, this guy could be better than them. Like, he has the game-breaking size. He has the skill set that's going to not only overwhelm defenses, but I think can evolve as the NBA evolves, which is always so important. He's going to be such a malleable player over time. How could you look at what Victor Wembanyama has done this season and not think that could be one of the best players in the world right now, when he already sometimes seems like he's one of the best players in the world right now?
Yeah.
But speaking of the best in the world, Isaiah, what do we have next coming up in terms of our questions?
So you guys have been in a lot of agreements, so we got some conflict here. Marlon goes, you've opened the box. Why is Pop better than Phil Jackson? And then Lucas in Ireland says, aside from Phil Jackson, who does Wos have in front of Pop when it comes to best coaches of all time?
Yeah, this one's my bad. I just casually tossed out on the last pod that I think Pop is the greatest coach in NBA history. We got a lot of questions about it. We got a lot of follow-up, people poking and prodding, wanted to hear the case. Woz, let me lay out the case for you a little bit here.
Lay out the case.
Phil Jackson, to me, is a coach who wants to play exactly one way and convince some of the great players of all time to do it with incredible, unprecedented success. No argument for me. Pop is a coach who came in similarly, wanting to play one way, won a title, and then changed and adapted and kept winning. And for 20 straight seasons, coached teams that won 50 wins or the equivalent, given a lockout here or there. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing. And they did it because Pop was willing to evolve as a coach as the NBA changed. Was not a proponent of the three-point shot, learned to accept it, learned to understand it, as Phil Jackson is firing off tweets as the president of the Knicks, wondering what the value of the three is. And he did something that Phil Jackson never did, which is he coached some of the all-time player development success stories. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. Whatever you may say about Phil's Lakers and Bulls teams, they don't have those guys. Like, Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan when Phil Jackson took over. Scottie Pippen grew as a player. I'm sure being empowered in the triangle is part of that, but I wouldn't say it's like Phil Jackson's majestic developmental coaching that made Scottie Pippen a Hall of Famer. Okay. I don't think he does. Okay. No. I think there's places where we share credit and there's places where there's not. And I look at 94 and 95 as being very telling. Phil Jackson staring down those seasons without the most dominant player in the sport and saying, I'm good. I'm going to sit out all of these circumstances in which I have less than ideal personnel to win.
Look, here's the thing. One, bashed Popovich's head in every time he played him in the playoffs.
The head-to-head
always
is tough. It's tough.
Kicked his ass all the time, right? This I did it, Pop is the wizard, and this smoked him head-to-head.
Yeah.
And to me, the thing about Phil is like, yes, I think he is way less adaptable than Pop has proven to be over the breadth of his career. But like, people say all this Jordan like, Doug Collins was not getting these results.
No.
He just wasn't. He actually got this guy to take a more holistic view of the freaking game.
I mean,
he did.
I feel like there's a little bit of like a Doug Collins. I mean, he's got like a Vinny Del Negro vibe. He's got not an Adrian Griffin vibe from this season, but a bit of like, there's some low-hanging fruit here for the 90s Bulls. And Phil Jackson took the fruit, and he also imposed this, very stodgy offense that worked for a very long time, and I respect it and I admire what it accomplished. But I'm not that impressed by the triangle at the end of the day.
Dude, the principles of the offense still remain, though, right?
Like, I mean, sure.
In
the way that they've been built upon and changed and tweaked into other things and other systems over time because they don't work anymore. Yeah.
Yes. And the bottom line is, look, I hate doing the 6 rings, 9 rings, 11 rings,
here we
all
go.
that stuff. But I have to. Because, yes, the 2 3-peats aside, to me, it's like doing it with Shaq and Kobe again. They were not going to win a championship with Del Harris, y'all. They just were not. Doing it with Shaq and Kobe is one thing. Doing it with Kobe, who was a diminished version of himself, let's face it, at the time, and Powell and Lamar Odom, like, bruh, the second Lakers championship run is, to me, what cements Phil is like This guy is the real deal. This guy knew what he was doing. The success kind of speaks for itself. And again, all of the player development, Chip England and all. We pioneered.
This is part of coaching. What do you want from me?
We pioneered the route from Europe to America and yada, yada, yada. Whatever. We're not going to talk about Pop saying he liked the Europeans better because they work hard, a.k.a. we're not going to kill Pop for that.
It's not ideal.
Even though I just did. I get all of that. But Phil's teams always perform, dude. And in the biggest playoffs, in the biggest moments in the playoffs, whereas, we always say the playoffs is like this chess match between the chess masters and we're moving the pieces and the coaches. Kick Popovich's chess playing every single time, man. Look, Popovich is amazing. And I don't think Popovich is a better coach than Pat Riley.
Wow.
To be honest with you. I put Riley above Popovich.
Well, so this is the offshoot question is who else would you have over Pop? Phil, you're saying Pat Riley. Anyone else you want to put in that conversation?
I want Phil, Riles. I guess we could put Pop in there. I don't want to be disrespectful to Red Auerbach, but I guess we could put Pop in there.
Sure.
Okay? But come on. Riley invented so many ideas in the modern game. He is the modern game. And that he's still GMing at this level. Riley, for sure, is the number 2. Popovich, we'll give him number 3.
Wow. Disrespectful.
Yeah. Popovich is the admiration of the media. Just we love it when Pop dunks on us on TV and he treats our questions like we're kindergartners and idiots. Oh, we love Pop. He's so great. And Pop. I ain't buying it, okay?
All I said was he was a good basketball coach.
Obviously,
I don't have the
Stockholm
syndrome, I don't think, was.
Obviously, an all-time coach. No, I'm not accusing you, Rob. I'm talking about the media as a whole, NBA media. But he not touching Phil Jackson. Come on, man.
Look,
11 rings, guys. Come on. 11 championships. It's
very impressive. So Bill Russell, also the greatest player of all time, 11 rings. How do we dispute the rings?